Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. Since we're now finished with Halloween in the month of October, now we're officially in the month of November, and of course now that everything's going to be switched from Halloween, Halloween candy and decorations and costumes, now to being the depressing part of the year, Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving coming up. So when we're discussing, we're going to get a jump on a lot of other internet guys, this YouTube reviewers, and talk about a classic holiday themed movie. And that is, of course, the classic 1947 Miracle on 34th Street. And of course, starring Natalie Wood, Maureen O'Hara, Emma Gwynn, and John Payne. This movie came out in 1947, and of course, this is the best of the holiday films. And probably like the most underrated holiday film. Because everybody talking about holiday movies, they either talk about It's a Wonderful Life, and that's it. You don't even consider any other holiday film. This one, maybe, but it's like way down on this. Everybody remembers It's a Wonderful Life, and that's it. Well, Miracle on 34th Street, of course, those of you who don't know the story, it's about the story of Maureen O'Hara, who is the mother of Natalie Wood. Because you see Natalie Wood in the cover of the box here. And there's Natalie Wood, which was about like 11 years old. And also Maureen O'Hara, who played a single mother who was recently got, a few years earlier got divorced. So she's like a cynical one, doesn't believe in anything, doesn't have any faith in anything. She's real cynical of the world and everything else. And she's like, an executive at Macy's. And yes, this movie was actually filmed in Macy's, New York City, the main store, the flagship store, Macy's. For those of you who never been to New York City, you probably just see Macy's on the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and that's it. Well, the reason why it's called Miracle on 34th Street is because Macy's is located on 34th Street and 6th Avenue, just off Broadway. And so that's why it's called Miracle on 34th. That's where they got the 34th Street in the title. So, because it was on 34th Street. And it was filmed in Macy's. You see the old escalators. You see, the front of the store, the 34th Street side of Macy's, plus the 7th Avenue side of Macy's. And you can see the street sign. It says 34th Street and 7th Avenue street sign. Of course, the street sign's been updated over the years, but it's still in the same location. That's where it is. For about over 150 years, there's been stories. So basically, they have it's got Kris Kringle, played by Edwin Gwynn, who won the Academy Award for his performance in this film, and he manages to become the Santa Claus of the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And this was filmed at the 1946 Thanksgiving Day Parade. All that stuff that you see in the beginning of the film was the actual parade. Because they decided to film this instead of closing down the streets for this film to reenact the parade. They filmed the parade at the time that they had Thanksgiving in 1946. And that is Emma Gwynn on the sled, the Santa Claus sled. And he got in because the regular Santa Claus they hired was a drunk. And he spoke to Maureen O'Hara, who was in charge of the parade. Kind of like the Gene McFadden, who did it for like 30 years or so, and retired like back in the early 2000s, retired. And it's kind of like that character. And so Maureen O'Hara says, "Oh, get out of here! Wait, how come you're not on costume? Because your Santa Claus is drunk and intoxicated." And so, of course, he was immediately fired, and Kris Kringle, or Emma Gwynn's character, was hired as Santa Claus. The guy was for the touring department, who was supposed to be Santa Claus's boss, says, "Oh, we're gonna hire him. He's really terrific." And Hale says, "Okay, you can hire him. It's fine. Now you see me a search in the morning." So of course he gets the job, and what happens is the stuff that Macy's doesn't carry, certain brands that don't carry, or certain items that they don't carry. So like the next day or Friday, that's when Santa Claus does, talk to the kids and ask what you want for Christmas. And she says, "Oh, you can't get anything. You call it Gimbels." In case you know what Gimbels was a department store in New York City that went out about like 25 years ago. And that store was 2 blocks from where Macy's was, on Broadway. And of course those who come to New York now, for the last 25 years or so, don't know where Gimbels is. Gimbels is now the Manhattan Mall, what's labeled as the Manhattan Mall in New York City. That's what the Gimbels store was. And the main Gimbels store was. That's where it is. And that's where it was. It's the Manhattan Mall now. So actually, of course, they made Mr. Gimbel and they made Mr. Macy. I don't think there ever was an actual Mr. Macy or Mr. Gimbel. Because you gotta have some kind of figure, you have to have 2 businessmen competing against each other. So, Chris Kringle did, told the kids, "Look, you can get the skates over at, the first kid would go to Schoenfeld's next to Avenue. I don't know if there ever was a Schoenfeld's, but we'll go to Schoenfeld's next to Avenue and get that fine range for your kid. And then goes to you get those skates over at Gimbels, and the toy like Gimbels, and that's because he goes supposed to fire him for it. But then word got around that Chris Kringle, the Santa Claus, is bringing to every kid. Anything the Macy's doesn't carry, or in particular toy the Macy's doesn't carry, he tells the parents where they can get it, so the kid won't be disappointed on the holiday. So of course he goes. And actually all the parents thought that was a great idea, because always, before then, all the department stores, what they're doing now too, they always used to push, you get the toy here, don't get it anywhere else. If you can't get it here, kids will go to, like Toys R Us, or they go to another store. But that's because Macy's is going to say, "Hey, you can't get those here, you can get only here at Macy's, exclusively at Macy's." And take the exclusive code. And of course, Chris Kringle says, "Oh, you get else, please, you can get it anywhere else." So of course, Mr. Macy says, "Okay, that's a great idea, let's do that." And so anywhere where we can get it, we tell them they can get it. So Gimbel said, "Okay, Macy could do it, we could do the same thing too." So of course, actually goes into this whole big national campaign, and of course, everybody loves this idea. It's a good real thing. Well, what happened was, Reno Harris' character finds out that he actually thinks he is Chris Kringle, and he lives in the North Pole, and she looks at his appointment card, which is one of the funniest scenes. He lets the kid, and it's all the reindeer. Comet, Cupid, Donald, Blitzen, and he put everybody in except Rudolph. He lets all the other 8 reindeer except for Rudolph. And so he, eventually I think he's nuts, because he thinks he is, really Santa Claus and not a guy hiring to be Santa Claus. So a psychiatrist that's there, a so-called soul psychiatrist, says, "Oh, he's nuts, he should be locked up." And of course, there's one particular kid who works in Macy's. So, "Oh, he has a complex, a guilt complex, because he likes to be Santa Claus at the local YMCA." So Chris Kringle confronts him and hits him over the head with his cane, because he felt that, because he wants to be, that his kid Alfred wants to be nice to kids, you say he has a guilt complex. And of course, they got into a real argument, and Chris Kringle came and boxed him on the head, one shot. This psychiatrist fakes that he was hurt more than he really was, and so what they do is they roped him into Bellevue Hospital, and the rest of the movie, he has him in, is quoting him in the rest of the movie. Of course, you can't really prove that he really is Santa Claus, because he has no ID, he has no birth certificate, he doesn't have anything to really prove that he is who he says he is, because he's so old. And so naturally, of course, this lawyer, played by John Payne, who was a love interest to Maria Harris' character in the film, says, how can I possibly prove that you're Santa Claus? I can't. The lawyer, the governor, the mayor of New York, the governor of New York, and trying to get some authority to say that you or who you say you are. And I can't prove it. I feel like I'm going to lose this case. And then there was the scene of two postal workers, and they, one got a letter that was written by Natalie Wood to Chris at the courthouse, and his postal worker calls the supervisor's office. Look, and we get letters from Santa Claus, North Pole, South Pole, wherever, and everywhere else, in between. And the first time I saw him in the courthouse. And so what's the deal with this courthouse letter? And the supervisor saw this because he's on trial. Here's the morning paper, and it's right on the front page. And he says, hey Lou, I got an idea. Why don't we send all the Santa Claus letters over to the courthouse? Because Kringle in the courthouse, Mr. Kringle in the courthouse. And we that's a good idea. So we get all the trucks stuff all these Santa Claus letters and down to him. Because we're going to get rid of those letters anyway. So we might as well send them to him. And that's exactly what they did, and that's how they ended up winning the case. Because in the end of the film, throughout the film, because one thing that people or parents would get disturbed about, this is what leads into the end of the movie, was that Natalie Wood asked Santa Claus, Chris Kringle, for a house, for a real actual house, like on Long Island or something. And he said, oh, you want this as a door house? No, I want an actual house. I said, well, you live in this lovely apartment. So I don't think it's so terrific. And so, of course, he looked for this house, and of course, in the end of the movie, they find this house. And of course, Natalie Wood is just as cynical as Maria Harris' character was throughout the film. And of course, when she sees the house, she goes, oh, Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus. She's running around the house, and of course, John Payne says, we can't let her down. Let's get this house, because we saw a sign. We just saw the sign outside, and that's for sale. Let's go get this house. And of course, Maria Harris and John Payne kiss in the end of the film, and that's how it ended. But the disturbing point of the movie, that's because this is more innocent time in 1947. If this movie was made today in 2013, there's like two specific scenes that people would be nitpicking to death. I mean, that's the reason why Miracle on 34th Street is like in the praise as it should. It's a holiday film. And of course, the two scenes are when Emma Gwynn decides to move into John Payne's character, because John Payne lives in the same apartment building on the same floor as Maria Harris and Natalie Wood's apartment is. So he decides to move in with him so he can travel to work with Maria Harris' character. And so there was like two scenes when Emma Gwynn goes into Natalie Wood's bedroom. Natalie Wood's lying in bed, and that's where he tells her, oh, I want this house. I'd like to have this house for Christmas. And there's another scene where he sings to her and sings a song which is about to be tucked in, and he's tugging her in and not the mother. And he sings the song to market, and then he notices that he's blowing a big bubble. He says, hey, okay, do that. And he blows this big bubble and it pops and gets the gum in his beard. And the next thing you see is him yanking the gum out of his beard. Those two scenes in the swimming, because it's just him, Emma Gwynn, and Natalie Wood in the bedroom by themselves. Without the mother being there, without John Payne being there. So it's, nowadays they say, oh, how does Maria Harris know that Emma Gwynn is not a child molester. The guy can be a child molester for. Right? So that's why nowadays those two particular scenes I just mentioned will be criticized today in the cynical 2013 women now. But 1947 was more of an innocent time. But the funny thing is, when this movie came out in June of 1947, it wasn't a big hit. And then, of course, with the advent of television and the constant airing, it used to air in New York on Channel 5 in New York, and then, of course, eventually the colorized version, when it took this black and white movie made into a color film, and then Channel 11 for 15 years, or maybe close to 20 years. And then, for the last, I don't know, like 13 years, it's been airing on NBC, Channel 4, but after the Thanksgiving Day parade, they have like a Purina dog show, and then after the Purina dog show, they have, Local Authority 4th Street. And this movie is 97 minutes long, but it feels longer than that because they have a lot of good scenes in there, and it's a really funny movie. And also look for the actor who played Fred Mertz, I Love Lucy. He plays a role in this. He plays an advisor to the judge of the court case. And you see towards the later half of the movie. So look for Fred Mertz from I Love Lucy in this film. And that's my review of Miracle 34th Street. Please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and catch you next time for maybe another Thanksgiving, Halloween. I know I'm still stuck on Halloween. Another Thanksgiving themed movie. Because this movie does start on Thanksgiving Day, not on Christmas. Well, thank you for watching, and catch you next time.